All right, we're up. We're Team Rank Choice. We're very excited to see you guys today. We are an open source project to facilitate a fairer democracy. For those of you who are unfamiliar, there are two types of voting that work in democracies. One, which is the one you're probably most familiar with, is called first past the post, which is basically whoever gets the most votes wins. And a second type, which we think is fairer and much better, is called ranked choice voting. And you may have seen this in San Francisco or Oakland. Other places are starting to adopt it as well. Maine is a state in the US, Australia, and plenty of other places. And there are some nonprofit organizations who are focusing on trying to make ranked choice voting a reality in more places. The challenge is, logistically, it's much more difficult to pull off. And so what we wanted to do during this hackathon was to provide a software platform to make it very easy to run a fair election using ranked choice voting, but also to make it so that people could audit the results afterwards. So the reason that ranked choice voting is super important is the third-party problem, which you guys may be familiar with. So in the election between George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, Ross Perot was seen as a third-party spoiler, which is one of the big reasons that Bill Clinton won. And in the next election between Al Gore and George Bush, Ralph Nader was seen as a spoiler, which was one of the big reasons that George W. Bush won. And we think that in both those cases, the people that voted for the third-party candidate actually probably wanted the loser to win more than the person who ultimately ended up winning. And so we'll give you a quick demonstration of what this means. So here's an election between three parties. There's the blue party, orange party, and green party. In a first-past-the-post system, the blue party would have won because they got the top votes. But you can see that in this case, the third-party candidate actually has 2 votes, but their second preference is actually for the orange party. So because they're the last place party in the system, their votes get reallocated. And so their votes will end up moving over, and in a ranked choice system, their second choice votes actually matter, and the orange party would have ended up winning. We think this is a much better reflection of people's actual preferences, and so we think this would lead to much better democratic outcomes. So, how did we do this? We built an iOS app, we have a Rails app that powers the back end, and we actually put all the votes onto the blockchain so that people could audit the results afterwards. And we used Toda for that, and also used Ethereum. So this is meant to be interactive. We have a live demo. So if you guys have internet-connected devices, we'd encourage you to go to bit.ly/rankchoice. And you can see that we've put a bunch of animals up here that you would actually be able to vote between, and we can actually host a live election right now.
Okay, so I'm going to take over, and we're going to show the iOS app that I built kind of in parallel here. So let's just see if this is, hopefully this won't take too long, demo gods. Thank you.
I'll give you an extra minute because this is audience participation.
Okay. Let's get that going here. Okay, so over here, let's see. Okay, here we go. So I have an iOS app here that you should see in a moment here. I'm using ScreenLink and Game Capture HD from Elgato here. So I'm just going to run my app here, and we just have a list of candidates. So this is just a little friendlier version than what you see on the website, but feel free to use the website to cast your own vote. So I'm going to say Roger Rabbit. I really like Roger Rabbit's ideas, so I'm going to drag Roger Rabbit up first. But I don't really think he's going to win. I think Coco is kind of close to my values. And you know, there's actually 8 candidates, and you know, I could deal with Snoop Dogg. So I'll give him my third choice, and I'm going to kind of like pull the lever, and that's basically that just added to the tally. So you know, it's kind of a cool little app. You know, you can, if you made a mistake, you rearrange the things a little bit like that, but try to make something friendly. So yeah, let's go back to the results here.
Okay, let's show the results.
So there are 17 votes, and after the ranked choice vote, it looks like Felix the Cat won with 52% of the vote coming through for Felix.
Raise your hand if you used the app just now. Nice. Wow, now that's audience participation. I am impressed. So you used Toda, and you used iOS, you used, tell me what you used.
Yeah, so I guess there are 2 layers of the application. So the Toda stuff, if you want to talk about it in a second, we can get to that. So we use Rails to collect the votes, and that's just like kind of our CRUD application. So we're storing it locally in a Postgres database, but we're also posting the votes to the blockchain. so that people could audit the election afterwards. So you don't have to trust us in how we actually do the voting. We think that's a big part of holding elections accountable, is that other people need to be able to run recounts, and we think the blockchain is a fantastic way to do that. And so we have a smart contract, which we also worked on, so that it's all up there, and so people could have full transparency into actually what happened during this election.
Blowing my mind. Yes, Dan, do you have a question about that, or do you want to hunt? We can go next here.
How's the identity of the voter tracked? You know, because so if there's one malicious person who comes in and votes 500 times.
Sure, so right now, that's not an implementation detail that we decided to handle for this weekend. We think there's a lot of great ways we could do it though. I think using public-private key pairs is a good way for us to validate identity and to validate that people only vote once. But we think with the software that you could use in the same way you have a voting booth where people are just able to come through one at a time and vote, and we'd still get a lot of the benefits. It doesn't need to just be in politics. You could also get this for corporate governance, shareholder elections, and things like that as well. And we think that could be very, very useful.
Amy, did you end up with a mic?
Okay, I hear the back.
You did. Do you want to use one?
No, that was going to be my question. Just, you know, beyond politics, I can actually see uses for this, easier uses for this in other spaces.
Yeah, and even low stakes things, like where do you want to go on a company retreat, or what do you guys want to order for lunch, or what movie are we going to go watch as a group of friends? All of those are like great use cases of this. So hopefully you guys can make use of it.
Great. Thank you so much. Round of applause.